Hello, hi, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to teach you all that the pedagogy of English in first semester BEd. So I have chosen the subject as a methodology is the pedagogy of English and social science. So I'm going to teach you all these two subjects only. Pardon if you are any regret in this. And let's go to the topic, that's unit 1. The first unit, first topic is ELT is nothing but English language teaching. So here, meaning, nature and scope of ELT is nothing but the meaning is ELT refers to the process of teaching English as a second language to the non-native speakers. Those who are subject is local language is another other than the English. Those will choose the subject of a second language as English. So for those, the English language teaching learning. So nature, coming to the nature, ELT is specialized field. So it is a specialized field of it's a specialized field of teaching that focuses on the language acquisition. That means to grasp the knowledge and learn about the knowledge, language, and the language learning, right? So the next thing is it involves a range of methodologies, techniques, and materials to help the learners to develop the language proficiency from the basics to the proficiency. What are the skills, what are the materials have incurred to learn the English language? So it involves all the materials and techniques and methodologies. So ELT consider the cultural, social, and cognitive context of language learning. So coming to the scope of language learning, ELT is encompasses various aspects. Those includes that language skills. Skills means nothing but the reading, writing, speaking, listening, and grammar. In the English, we will have the grammar part. In the Telugu also, we will have the grammar part. So in the languages, whatever the language is, the uh, is more popular to speak in, it's everywhere you can go, that there if you don't know that particular local language, you can speak in English, then they can understand, and when communication will happen. So English is a world language, so you need to must read the language. You should able to read, write, and speak the language, right? So language skills must be important here. So the language areas like a vocabulary. So coming to the grammar, in the grammar part, vocabulary, pronunciation, discourse, and pragmatics. So coming to the teaching methods, communicative language teaching, task based learning, content and language integrated learning, and more. So the learner assessment and evaluation, teacher training and development. So there should be the assessment and evaluation to the learner, whoever is learning, so then only they can be proficient in the language. So the teacher training and development, the teacher must be fully trained to teach to the students. So the materials development and resource design, what are the materials should be included, involved to learn the language? The teacher must know and must equipped with all the materials. So the language policy and planning, the planning should be done by the teachers. What are the process of the learning to the students? So you the teacher need to plan everything in a pre only pre-planned. So then only the student can learn the language effectively and enthusiastically. So ELT is a dynamic field that continuously evolves to address the diverse needs of the language and learners and the changing landscape of the language teaching and learning. So the coming to the second question, that is the status of English language in the global and Indian context. So I have previously told that it's a global world language. Wherever you can go, you can teach, you can speak, right? You can communicate with them with English. There is no problem between the communication if you know the English, right? So the global context, lingua franca, that means nothing but English is actually a widely accepted as a common language for international communication also. Lingua franca, nothing but everywhere in the world you can uh, communicate the language of English. Globalization. English is the language of the business, science, technology and entertainment also. So education, English is a medium of instruction in many university worldwide. It's a must should to teach them in the English only, and other languages are second part, right? International relations, English is used in diplomacy, international organizations and global affairs. So the coming to the next one, Indian context. So we have learned that the global context, now we are seeing that the Indian context in India, how it is developed. The official language, English is one of the official language of India along with the Hindi, right? Our national language is Hindi. Apart from that, English is an official language of India. Education in the medium of instruction in many schools and universities, right? We everyone knows that. So the business and economy, English is widely used in the corporate sector, finance and trade, science and technology. English is the language of a scientific research, technology and the innovation. Globalization and urbanization. English is increasingly used in urban areas, mainly among the younger generations only. Right? The younger generation need to understand and need to uh, able to they speak English. Then only they can have avail the opportunities what the present generation is having, right? So however in India, English also faces challenges as such as, so language diversity. India has many regional languages, right? Up to 26 to 28 languages are there in our India, right? English is not the mother tongue from most Indians. So every individual state has every individual language. That is the local language as well as the mother language, mother tongue. So no states have the English as a mother language. So it's a language diversity. Language politics, there are debates about the role of English in India education and society. Accessibility, not all Indians have the access to quality English education, creating a linguistic divide. So overall that English plays a significant role in both global and Indian context, but its status and impact vary depending on the context, right? So coming to the aims of education, English education is aims and objectives of teaching teaching English in India is aims are communicative competence, so that the student need to communicate effectively in English. That is the main aim of the nation. So the language proficiency, they need to proficiency in the language, they need to avail all the skills, language skills like reading, writing, speaking and listening also one of the skill. So cultural enrichment, that is familiarize student with the English language, cultures and literatures. So academic purpose, that means prepare the student for the academic pursuits in English medium education, right? So nowadays everyone is wants the children to the read and write in the English medium only. No one is allowing them to educate in the local language mediums, right? So the career opportunities, the employability and career prospects also in English only. So the object is coming to the objectives, language skills like develop the main, the language is lagging. Where it lagging means in the vocabulary and grammar. It improves the pronunciation and fluency, enhance the reading, writing and listening skills. So these are the barriers in present generation. What the generation is lagging here, so they need to achieve these means they can fluently speak the English and read the English and understand it. So they must need and proficient in the vocabulary and grammar mainly, and the pronunciations too. And Language functions are nothing but they use English for the practical purpose, for the conversation. It's a normal conversation. Why can't you speak in English rather than local language? Then you can be a proficient in English when you are conversating in English, right? So they develop critical thinking and problem solving. So third one is literature and culture. Appreciate English literature and its culture context. It's it's not saying like you need to only read and write in English only, not the local language, not like that. Along with your local language, you need to pursue, you need to be able to learn the English and read the English also, because the present generations are having a much competence in the younger generations only. Because if you are lagging in English, you can't reach those all. So you need to must be proficient in English, then only you can avail and achieve the goals of the present generations. So the person literature and culture, appreciate the English literature and the cultural context, develop an understand of diversity cultures and perspectives, personal growth and foster creativity, critical thinking and self-expression, develop the student confidence and self-esteem. The next thing is social national needs, like prepare the student for the global citizenship, international communications, right? And they contribute to India's social and economic, cultural and development. So by achieving these aims and objectives, teaching English in India aims to empower the students to succeed in their academic, professional and personal life. So coming to the next topic, that is language and educational policy in India. So what is the history around the English? That is, historical background is colonial legacy. So English was actually imposed as the language of education and administrations in the colonial legacy. Then the post-independence, Hindi was declared the official language, but the English continued to dominate the education and government. So there are some language policy in education. Those are like a three language formula: Hindi, English, regional language in 1968. National policy on education 1986. Right, emphasize the importance of mother tongue and regional languages also. The both they have given the importance. And coming to the next one, that is National Curriculum Framework 2005 encourage the multilingual education and language diversity. So now what is the current scenario? What is the current situation of the English language? Means language debates like Hindi versus English versus regional language. So medium of instruction is English dominates in urban areas and private schools, while regional languages are used in the government schools, right? Language teaching. English is taught as a second language, often poorly. So the multilingual education, some initiatives but limited implementation. So they are making initiative, but implementation is not appearing in the schools. And what are the challenges? Actually, what are the challenges means the language diversity and inclusivity, quality of the language teaching, and equity and access to the English education, balancing the global demands with the local language needs. What are the efforts? Efforts means what what are the modification they have to do for the learning English and speaking English. National education policy, which is by the government only, they have done this. So in the 2020 emphasizes the multilingual education and the language diversity. So the language education initiative, like example like Kendri Vidyalaya, Jawahara Navodaya Vidyalayas and etc. So mother tongue based education, like some states like Odisha and Gujarat have the initiated programs, something like that. So these states somehow do their effort, little efforts also can make a big change, right? So the language and education policy in India is shaped by the historical, political and social factors aiming to balance the language diversity, inclusivity and the global demands also. So coming to the next topic, that is teaching English in a bilingual and multilingual context. So what do you mean by bilingual? It's a two languages. And what does it mean by multilingual? Two or more than two. So the what are the key considerations like language diversity, recognizing the value students native languages and cultures. So language diversity, we have told this topic previously only. Language proficiency assess and support the student varying levels of English proficiency. One student can be in the first basic, one student in the modern, and one student will be in the highly proficient. So the teacher must know who is lagging and who is proficient in English. So the next thing is code switching. That is nothing but allow the student to use their native language to facilitate understanding. For the understanding purpose, it's okay. So that they need to learn. They need to try to learn also for the this language, English language. Language separation, establish the clear boundaries between the languages to avoid confusion. So they need to be the clear in the subject, clear in the knowledge of the learning English. Cultural sensitivity, incorporate diverse cultural reference and materials. Language support, provide the additional support for the student who is struggling with English. Then only they can understand their mistakes and vocabulary, grammar mistakes, and everything. So the parental involvement. So the parents also need to involve the when they are conversing, when they are communicating. The parents also need to be part of this. So the teacher training, the develop teacher skills and bilingual and multilingual education. What are the strategies? So the dual language instructions. So the teacher needs to give instruction in the both language, because some of the students are they can grasp everything within a fraction of seconds, but some of the students cannot grasp because their IQ level will be low. So the teacher need to instruct the language skills and everything in the both languages, or the regional language and as well as English also. The content and language integrated learning, English as a second language pull out programs should be conducted by the teachers. Sheltered instruction, visual aids and graphics, that means material they need to use, sources, resources, and multilingual resources and materials also they should be used. And the language club and extracurricular activities relate to the English language, right? Parent teacher conferences in native languages. Then only, because some of the parents uneducated parents will be there and educated parents will be there, so both cannot, that means both cannot be equally understand, right? So in the native languages the conference should be conducted by the teachers and parents. The challenges, what are the challenges? Language barriers, cultural differences will be there, limited resources, teacher training must need, and balancing the languages and cultures, and assessment and evaluation, parent involvement, policy and administrative support. What are the benefits? If the student will learn, what are the benefits they can get, right? So improved language proficiency, enhanced cultural and understanding, and increased student engagement, better academic performance, and stronger community connections, teacher professional growth, and inclusive learning environment. And then increased learning environment and preparation for the global citizenship. To conclude this, by acknowledging and addressing these factors, and teachers can effectively teach English in bilingual and multilingual contexts to promote the linguistic and cultural diversity. So I hope you understand these topics and clearly. And thanks for watching my video, and please subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. And thank you.